pretty excited about a book that I'm rereading by Daniel Siegel called Mindsight. And it sort of describes the science behind why I seem to get twisted off. Why is it that sometimes when I'm triggered, I turn into this incredible Hulk and turn green and get angry? And why can't I take the high road? What's so hard about taking the high road? Well, it turns out there's some science behind it, believe it or not. And Siegel simplified it and used a hand model for numbskulls like me to try to simplify it. And what he does is if you put your hand up and lay your thumb inside your hand, he would call that your limbic system. And the limbic system is sort of the part of your brain that decides what's good or what's bad. I would describe it as maybe the lizard brain. I think that's how he describes it, actually. And it's sort of the low road. It causes us to act in response to whatever the answer to the question is. Is it good or is it bad? And then the outside of the brain is the prefrontal cortex, which is kind of this part, the part of your brain that is, I would say, is in the three-dimensional world. It goes well beyond the fight or flight lizard part of your brain. And it allows us to think about thinking. So we're, as humans, are able to think about thinking, and that's the part that keeps us up at night. And it allows us to think about the abstract and gives us a sense of self and moral judgments and those kind of things. So the outcome of all this is pretty interesting for different people. I'm more the fighter guy. I'm the guy that comes in more like the Incredible Hulk. Some people blow their top and then they exit the scene, which would be the silent treatment. But I think these things don't have to be dramatic, and I've felt like, for me, sometimes they are dramatic and sometimes they're really subtle and kind of quiet and not so out there. And so I could slightly blow my top and nobody would know it and get totally flooded and nobody else would know it. But I do. And so the goal for me and what I've been trying to work on, and I'm just not that good at it, but it's trying to figure out a way to integrate the two so that I'm able to think when things get stressful or when my top starts to blow. I can know about it and kind of be curious about what those triggers are. And so that's really what I've been working on lately. So why is this important? I think for me, I've found the importance lies in the other person. The more I'm aware of my own triggers and the more I'm aware of when I'm blowing my top and the whys behind it, and the more curious I am, I find that I'm able to be gracious to other people. When my son, for example, blows his top, or my daughter or my wife or anybody I work with, when they blow their top, I kind of know, I'm starting to understand that there's science behind that. The science behind it is that they're unable to think at that moment. They're unable to make decisions wisely. They're unable to communicate what they really want to communicate. And so that's been a really interesting piece to the puzzle for me that I've been really working on. And I feel like when I do blow my top, there's a reason that your mama said to count to 10, right? And so I've been really working hard on figuring out ways to relax the brain and to be aware, because that awareness is so important. And so sometimes when I'm blowing my top and I feel it going, and I feel the Incredible Hulk, I feel the heat in my neck, I feel it in my body, I'm able to, if I have just a little piece of this ability to think, I'm able to take a break. But then it's my responsibility to circle back with that person and just say, hey, I'm overwhelmed, I'm really angry, I'll be back in 2 hours. So it becomes my responsibility to circle back. So anyway, those are the things that I'm been wondering about, been thinking about, and just thought I'd share it with you and start the conversation. So if you've got any comments or thoughts, I'd love to hear them.